Hi, my name is Jason. I'm going to be telling you about our experience with our kids going to SEAWORLD San Diego. The first thing that I'll tell you is that we found a really good deal through this website that I'll show you. And I was a little bit nervous that we were going to get to the gate and they were going to tell us these tickets aren't valid, but it worked like a charm. We didn't have any issues at all. We got right in, just printed the tickets ahead of time and saved, I don't even know how much, hundreds of dollars versus if we would have just bought them through SeaWorld. The other really nice thing is that to get a discount or a cheaper price through SeaWorld, we would have had to pick a specific date and tell them that we were going on this day, whereas getting them through this website, we didn't have to do any of that. We just bought a ticket and we had to use it before the end of the year. We left, we thought, with plenty of time. As we got close to the gate to SeaWorld though, we realized there was already major traffic just to get into the parking. The parking was, I think, $30. You could pay extra to be closer, but it really wasn't that much closer if you get there at the beginning of the day. When we got to the park half an hour early, there were tons of people already in line. We waited in the first line just to realize that that was just a line to get to the other line. But once we got to the other line, we had to wait until the park actually opened before they started letting people in. But still, it was nice to be further ahead so that we weren't just behind hordes and hordes of people. A couple things that were really, really cool. First of all, the shows are just, you have to see the shows. We saw the dolphin show, we saw the orca show, we saw the sea lion show. All of them were really, really fun. One complaint that I would have is that none of the seating had any shade to speak of, and it was a hot day. And so definitely bring plenty of water. You might even think about bringing an umbrella or something like that because there's just not any shade. So right as you come into the park, there's a really fun interactive area. There was a guy telling funny dad jokes and a place where you can put your hands in the water. The kids put their hands in the water and there's these little fish that will come and kind of nibble on your hands and it feels really cool. Our kids, after everything else, said, we've got to go back there, we've got to see that again. And so they were really excited, had fun with that. They also have some little sharks that you can pet right as you're coming in, which is really neat. This was more of a toddler trip. We didn't go on any of the roller coasters or any of the big rides, but we had a really fun time, like I said, going to the different shows. The sea lion show was really fun. They did a really good job making it funny and interactive, and besides it being so hot, was a lot of fun. A lot of the exhibits were super fun. The sea turtle exhibit, unfortunately, was closed when we were there, so we didn't get to see that one. But we were able to go see the stingrays, and the kids loved petting the stingrays, which was super fun. Feeding the stingrays was super overpriced, but even just petting them, they're real friendly and would come right up to the kids. We didn't buy any food in the park. It was also very expensive. We brought food with us, even though it probably says somewhere you're not supposed to. They checked our bags as we came in, saw the food, didn't say anything about it. So the other places that we went, the beluga exhibit, that one was awesome. They did such a good job building it. It's like you're inside this big ship that's exploring the Arctic, and it was just really, really cool walking through it, and a nice place to get cooled down if you've been out in the hot sun. We went to Sesame Street World, whatever they call it, which we went there just at the end of March, and so now I believe there's a separate admission. When we were there wasn't, though. This was a fun place for kids too, though. There's Elmo fish thing that's kind of like the Dumbo ride at Disneyland that our kids had a lot of fun on. There's another spinning one that's kind of like the teacups at Disneyland. They had some like climbing type, almost like a McPlay place, but on steroids, that was really cool. They had a splash pad, which again is nice when it's so hot outside. There's a lot of really neat stuff in the Sesame Street World for toddlers or younger kids. The killer whale show, I must say, was pretty spectacular. I'd been to the Georgia Aquarium in Atlanta, and they have a pretty awesome dolphin show. It would compete with the SeaWorld dolphin show, and it was indoors, and so I wasn't so hot watching it. But the killer whales were just so much huger than I ever imagined. They were ginormous. It was just amazing watching such a massive animal heave itself out of the water, and the tricks that they could do. It was really, really cool. They had a fun interactive kind of trivia game as you're sitting waiting, where they ask different questions and you give a thumbs up for yes or thumbs down for no, I think, and they'll scan the camera through the audience, but that was fun to kind of keep you engaged. Again, it was hot because there's no shade, but that was really fun as well. It was a really, really busy day when we were there. A lot of the websites were saying on a scale from 1 to 10, if 10 is the busiest, it was like an 8 or a 9. But we didn't have any trouble getting into the shows. We did go a little bit early. There's a convenient place to park strollers outside of the amphitheaters, and so that was nice. Overall, our kids had a really fun time. They probably missed out on some of the bigger rides, the roller coasters and stuff like that, but for their age, they really, really loved it. Loved seeing all the animals, loved the different exhibits, the shows, and the kid rides in Sesame Street World were all really fun. One other thing is the app for SeaWorld is super helpful. Here's a screenshot where you can actually see my dot moving as we're walking through the park. It was easy to get lost, especially having never been there before and where we're trying to get to a show and we're kind of on a time crunch. But this was super helpful to be able to look at the map and know where we were going. You can also look up when the shows are and that sort of thing. So definitely download the app, have that ready because it's a huge help. Well, I hope this was helpful. I hope you have a great trip to SeaWorld. Make sure that you do check out this website for cheaper tickets. They also sell tickets to SeaWorld Orlando and a couple other places. And like I said, we had zero problem at all using those tickets once we got there. Thanks, and if this was helpful for you, I hope you'll consider subscribing for more useful content. In the comments, leave any feedback that you have or questions. I'll be happy to share our experience at SeaWorld San Diego. Thanks.